Hi friends, welcome to Linux. Today we are going to discuss file permissions. So one of the important concept in Unix and Linux, file permissions. So what is permissions? Permissions is an important component of Linux that provides a secure method for storing files, which means you want to store files in a specific location with a security, then can choose the word file permissions. Linux is a multi-user operating system, so it has security to prevent people from accessing each other's confidential files. So each file and directory have 3 user based permissions. So overall Linux or Unix offers 3 user based permissions. One is owner permissions, which means user permissions, and the second one is group permissions, and the third one is other permissions. So owner permissions means who created the resource. So for example, if I create any file, so who is the owner of that file? Myself only. So I am the owner of the file. So like it is a user permission. So what is group permissions? It determines what actions a user. So it is like a member of the group. And the third one is other permissions. It indicates what action all other users can perform on the file. So who created the file? It is a owner permissions, and any user belongs to group, then it is a group permissions, and except owner and group members, remaining all are others. So it is a others permissions. Then so file access modes. So Linux file permissions means the backend read permissions, write permissions, execute permissions. So read means grants the capability to read. So that is view the content of the file. It is possible to read the content of the file viewing. And the second one is write permissions. Grants the capability to modify or remove the content of the file. So you want to modify the content or remove the content of the file, then write. And execute means user with execute permissions can run a file as a program. So that is called what? Third one. But you want to add permissions, remove permissions means you can use actions. Plus means add the permissions, minus means removes the permissions, equal means makes it the only permissions, that is override the permissions. And now what are the symbolic forms of permissions? I will show you here also. So for example, the read value is 4. The read identification form is R. So like everyone must understand 3 values. What are those? Read 4, that read identification with R. And the second one is write. The write value is 2, but write notation is W. At the same time, execute is the third one. The execute value is 1, and then notation is X. So everyone must understand these 3 points. Read value 4, write value 2, execute value 1, numerical values. And now, so 3 user levels, like it is called what? User notation is U, then group notation is G, and others notation is O. So again 3 values: user U, group G, others O. Okay, so now I will show you here next important thing. What is umask? So umask in Linux is known as user mask, or it is also called user file creation mask. User mask or user file creation mask. It is a command that determines the setting of a mask that controls which file permissions are set for files and directories when they are created. It means if you create any new file or if you create any new directory, so by default the predefined permissions are generated by umask value. So means the user file creation mask generates predefined file permissions. These predefined permissions are assigned as per the value of the default mask. So for example, in my Linux, how to find the umask value? So the umask value, how to find it? Umask is the command. Then user mask value is the what? 022. So actually, what is the thing here? The maximum file permissions are 666. Then existing umask value is 022. Then you can subtract. Then value is the what? 6 minus 0 6, 6 minus 2 4, 6 minus 2 4. So this is the value of default file permissions. So now here observe how to get default file permissions means if I create any new file, touch space, my file name is for example Raju, then enter. So Raju file successfully created. If you check ls space -l Raju, then what is the thing? The default file permissions are read write, the combination read or read for w2, so 4 plus 2 6, then in the next one is 4, in the next one is 4, so that is 666. So I will tell you one important point here. What is that? So how to check the file permissions means first ls space -l. So the file permissions fields are here. This is the what? File permissions field. And don't consider the first value. I told you the first value defines the what? File type. So hyphen means it is a file, d means directory, l means link file, like that. But second field onwards, it is a file permissions field. It is a file permissions field. But how to determine file permissions means, so for example, I want to copy this file, this line, just copy, and in the notepad just observe. In the notepad, this is the field, but the overall 9 fields are there. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 fields are there, but every 3 fields are one part. Every 3 fields are one part. This is the first field. Every 3 fields are one part. This is the what? First field, and next this is the second field, and this is the what? Third field. Okay, so now the first 3 fields are user permissions, and the next 3 fields are group permissions, and the next 3 fields are others permissions. So which means the first 3 fields are user, and then next 3 fields are group, and the last 3 fields are others. So these fields are related to other. So overall the numerical values are r value 4, then right value 2, then here it is called 0. So that is the first field, it is value 6, and the second one is here 4 plus 0 plus 0, so that is called what? 4 only. Then last one is 4 plus 0 plus 0, so this is the 4. So overall the file permissions field at default is what? 6, then it is called what? 4, and then it is called what? 4. So that's why you got your what? Default permission 644. But how to get default file permissions means based on your existing mask value. So the default mask value is 022. So what is the meaning? So this file is a what? Like for example Java file. Then what happened? This Java file able to access by the user read and write, and that is owner, and group members only read and others also read. So that is called what? 644 file permissions. But every file permissions has 9 fields, but every three fields are one part. First part is goes to user, second part goes to group, third part is belongs to others. So third part belongs to others. So this is overall calculation, file permissions calculation. So now see how to get the what default permissions. Even you create the what any new file, touch space, my file name is ABC. Then ABC file permissions are, observe what is that? No, ls space hyphen l, my file name is xyz, already ABC is exist. Touch space, my file name is xyz. Then check it ls space hyphen l xyz. So now see that the first field is 6, second field is 4, and third field is 4. Then 644. So you able to get 644 is default. But how to get 644 means based on your umask value. So what is the umask value? 022. So maximum file permissions minus existing umask value equal to default file permissions. Default file permissions. So how to calculate the values? This is the what example. Okay. For example, what is the maximum permissions for directory? So for example, directory full permissions are 777. Then existing umask value is 022. Then the value is the what? The default directory permissions are 755. Because 7 minus 0 7, 7 minus 2 5, 7 minus 2 5. So now if you create any directory, so by default your privileges are mkdir. My directory name is, for example, Unix. My directory name is Unix. Then check it ls space hyphen ld, directory name is Unix. Then here see that the first three fields are read, write, execute means 7, and next 4 plus 1 because r4 x1 5, and again others also r4 x1, so 7 5 5. So now the default permissions are what? 755. So means if you create any new file in the Linux or Unix, by default under super user your file permissions are 644, but your directory permissions are default directory permissions are 755. But how to get these permissions 644 as a file and 755 as a directory means based on umask value. So the umask value defines default file permissions. Okay sir, I want to change my default file permissions because I want to set user level is I want to remove the write, and group level I want to add write, I want to remove x in other levels. Then how to change existing file permissions? Then we can use some tools like here command utilities. So what are the command utilities tools? chgrp to change the file directory permissions, and chgrp to change the group name, and chown to change the ownership of the file. But actually the first command is mistake guys. Actually the first command is chmod, not chgrp, both are same here. So what is the command to change file permissions means chmod. This is the command to change file permissions. So now how to change file permissions I will show you here. Now observe. So now just now we created one file, and even existing file is name is Java. So now my existing file name is Java. So the Java file permissions already read, write hyphen user level, read hyphen group level, and read only others level. So how to change file permissions means actually you have two methods, symbolic method and numerical method. Two methods are there, symbolic method and numerical method. So now I will show you how to change with symbolic. So now chmod is the command, and user level I want to add x permissions. So users notation is what? U. So x means what? Execute, but by default read and write of Java file in the user level. So now I want to add x, then which file? Java file. So check it now. So now x permission successfully added in the user level because I specified u plus x means user to add x permissions. Okay, now chmod I want to add group level with write permission of my Java file. So now here is the Java file. The Java file already group level is the what? Read only mode. But I want to add write permission of group level. So this level. So now enter. So now check it now. Here group level write permission successfully added. And ch mode, I want to remove even read from the others of Java file. So actually all others are accessing my Java file with read only mode. So I want to remove the what? Read mode from the others. Then enter. Then check it ls space -l Java. So now others are what? Not read, not write, not execute. So don't read, don't write, don't execute. But only who is the owner of this Java file? Root user can read, write, execute of Java file, and root group peoples can access the Java file with read and write. Except these two guys, remaining all are not read, not write, not execute. That is the meaning. Okay, you want to add ch mode. Sir, I want to user level to remove x. I want to add group level execute. I want to add others level only read. Then my file name is Java. So even in the single line you can add user level, group level, other level permissions. Just give the comma. So now I am removing x permission from the user level because already read, write, execute. And group level I am adding x because already read and write x is not there, but other level completely null. So that's why I added the what? R. Now enter. Check it all. Excuse me. So now user level read and write, group level read, write, execute, but other levels read only. But one more important thing, in the ch mode, sir, user level, group level, other level is equal to read of Java file. Then what is the meaning? To override existing permissions. Now it will add read only of all. That is user level is read, group level is read, others level is read. So when will you specify equal to override existing permissions? Then it will add new one only. So now all are able to do with read only of Java file. So these are the what? Three operators. Plus means adding permissions, minus means removing permissions, equal means override the permissions. Okay, so then one more example, one more method for changing file permissions. So now I want to add ch mode 541 of Java file. Then remember everyone, the first value goes to user level, and second value for group level, and third value for others level. That is meaning 3 values only. But which combination is 5? So sir, read and execute, correct, because read 4 and execute 1. So read and execute combination 5. So user can read and execute of Java file, and 4 combination is what? Read only. Okay, yes, group members read only of Java file, and which combination? 1 execute. Yes, others will execute Java file only. So check it now. Yes, read and execute of user, read only of group members, and execute only for others. Okay sir, ch mode 751 of Java file. Then user 7 combination means read, write, execute. Group members means read and execute. Others means execute only because 1. Check it. Read, write, execute, read, execute, execute only. So now I want to set full permissions of like 666 of Java file. Then everyone with read and write. See that? So now I want to set 600 of Java file. So one are only read and write, but remaining groups and others with null only. Okay, ch mode just 400 of Java file. So then here it is called what? Only user read, remaining all are 00. So why need to set up AWS instances permissions are 400. The key pair should be 400, because who created the key pair, those peoples with read only, and remaining all peoples are what, null. So that's why you should keep it the what AWS instance with what 400 only. So one are only read and remaining all are the what 00. Then only you able to connect the instance. Right. So you want to set up chmod sar 7 and 6 like 1 yes of Java file. Then what is the meaning? User read write execute, group members read and write, others only execute. So compared to first one, this numerical method is very easy. But you want to execute this kind of commands, you must remember three values: read 4, write 2, execute 1. You know these three values, then file permissions are easy. Sir, what about directories? Okay, for example, we have some directories. ABC directory, AWS directory is there, for example. So now in the ls space -ld, my directory name is AWS. Already these directory permissions are user read write execute, group members read and execute, others also read and execute. So how can I set up chmod? I want to keep 610 of AWS. So then what is the meaning? The owner read and write, group members execute only, but others nothing. Then check it. So user read write, groups only execute, others nothing. So like you want to change, write 7 sar 5 1 only, or 751 only, then AWS directory. Then check it. So owner read write execute, group members read and execute, others only execute. But in that case, one important thing. For example, the permissions are applicable to only parent directory of AWS. But actually, in the ls space -l AWS, lot of subfiles are there. See that every subfile with read write and read default file permissions only. But recently I changed the what AWS directory permissions. Owner read write execute, group members read and execute, others only execute. But sir, I want to set the what same parent privileges to my subfiles and subdirectories. Then how can you set recursive privileges? Recursive, so means inheritance privileges. So then chmod -R sir 755 of AWS. So generally without R means these 755 permissions are applicable to only AWS directory. Now with R means the permissions are recursive. Recursive means even the AWS folder including subfiles and subdirectories, everything will get the what 755 only. Then check it, the folder of AWS is 755, the subfiles of AWS is again 755. So you want to get entire folder with same permissions, then you can use -R. But without R means only the permissions applicable to only parent but not any subfiles and subdirectories. That is called what? R. R for recursive. So this is the way in the environment to set up the what file permissions. And okay, so now one more option I will tell you, sir, already my file is a ABC, or my file is a XYZ, or my file is a Raju. So the Raju file permissions are read write, read only. And now I have a one other file in the ls space -l, my file name is Java. Then Java file name is, permissions are read write execute, read write and execute only. Okay, I want to set up the same Java privileges to Raju file. Sir, already existing files permissions are Java read write execute only. But I cannot modify the what same file permissions of Java like a reference file of Raju. Or so my reference file name is Java, I want to set Java files to Raju. So you don't know how to set up the what file permissions, just call the what reference of existing file. So how to call the reference of existing file? chmod is the option, -reference. Reference file is the what? Java. I want to set Java file permissions to Raju. So now enter. So check it. Actually Java file permissions are what? See that same permissions, read, write, execute, read, execute. But now the Raju also get the what? Same file permissions. Just check it. Yes, see that the same permissions. So you want to call the reference, then we can use the hyphen reference field. So what is the meaning? So now I want to set the what? Privileges to Raju from the Java file. So I want to set same Java file permissions to Raju. Then how to reference it? Hyphen reference bit space which file reference you want. I want to set Java file reference to Raju file. Then here is that. So this is called what? A reference. So this is the way in the environment to setting of file permissions. So you want to setting of read, you want to setting of write, you want to setting execute, then you follow these methods, either symbolic or numerical method. Then the second command is, that is chgrp. So what is the chgrp command? Chgrp used to change group name. It is used to change group name. So what is the meaning? For example, sir, I want to set the word permission chmod 614 of my Java file. So now actually the Java file permissions are here: user only read and write, owner only read and write, but group member only execute, others only read. Right, this is the file permissions. But who is the owner of this Java file? The owner is root. Then what is the group name of Java file? This Java file belongs to root group. Okay, I want to change the group name because I want to add this Java file into dev department. I want to add this Java file into cloud department. I want to add this Java file into networking team. Then how can you change the group name? But by default, every file initially belongs to same username. Every file belongs to with same group name. So what is the username as well as the group name also with username. So for example, if I create username Raju, so the group name also with Raju. If I create username is Ravi, then group name also with Ravi. So the by default username and group name both are same, but you want to change both, and you can change it. So like for example, first you need to create a group. Actually how to create a group add is the command. But later I will tell you the full description of group add command, user add command in the user and group administration lectures. But in the group add command, so I want to make a new group. The group name is cloud team. So now the group successfully created cloud team. So now chgrp to change group name. The group name is cloud team. The cloud team the Java file belongs to the what? Cloud team. Then enter. Check it ls space -l now Java file. So now Java file belongs to cloud team. Then cloud team peoples can access with execute of Java file. So now who is the owner of the Java file now? Root user. The root can access with read write of Java file. Then cloud team peoples can access this Java file with execute only. And remaining all are the what others can read of the Java file. That is the meaning. So how to change group name means this is the way. Then the third one is chown is the command. So that is called to change ownership of the file. To change ownership of a file. So how to change the ownership? So ownership means to change the what? Username. To change the what? Owner name. So how to change the owner name? So I will show you here. Example. First make it the user add. My username is Raju, for example. So already Raju user is exist, no problem. In the ls space -l, the file name, the Java file owner name is Raju, root only. So means the root user access the Java file with the read and write. Now I want to change the what? Owner name. chown is the command. Then it is called what? Username Raju. The file name is Java. So now check it, who is the owner of the Java file now onwards? The Java file owner is Raju. So Raju access the Java file with read write permissions, and group peoples can access with execute only, and others peoples can access read only. Okay, so this is called what? To change the what? Ownership. But with the help of the chown command, you can change at a time owner name and also group name. So how to change? For example, ls space, even directory is also same. So AWS, okay, ls space -ld, my directory name is AWS. So AWS owner is root and group name also root. I told you just now what it is. Initially, by default, every username and group name same. Every username and group name is same. So according to user private group scheme. So now here I want to change chown. The owner name is Raju. The group name colon cloud team. So now my group name is cloud team. Of the file name is AWS. So now at a time to change the what? Both owner name and group name. But here field separated with what? Colon. Then enter. Both are running with what? See that owner name is Raju, group name is cloud team. Okay, so that is called what? chown command. But not only here, you want to change the things of subfiles and subdirectories. Actually, see that the AWS file owner is Raju, group name is cloud team. But if you check the what subfiles of AWS, but so it is not affected to subfiles and subdirectories because I am not specified R. But you want to change subfiles and subdirectories and everything. Again, option is common for everything. So R recursive. Then check it ls space -l. Now every username is, every file user owner is what? Raju. Every file group name is the what? Cloud team. So this is overall file permissions concept. So these three commands are very important. So that is first use chmod is the command, and second one is chgrp is the command, and third one is chown is the command. Okay, please do the what? More practicals and more examples, because file permissions concept is important. Okay, next one more important concept is process management. So generally, what is a process first? A process is a program under execution, or any running instance of your program. Any running instance of your program is called as a process. So like here, a process is a program under execution, or any running program or a command given to Linux system is called as a process. Yes, a process is a simply unit for provisioning system resources. So it is any program, application or command that run on a computer. A process is created in memory in its own address space when a command or program or application is initiated. So this is the what? Very important interview point. Please understand. So a process is created in memory in its own address space when a command or program or application is initiated. But the operating system tracks processes through a process ID. Each process in the system has a unique PID. The priority index of your processes is called NICE in Linux operating system. But the default NICE value is 0, and it can vary between 20 to -19. So overall here is the what? 40 NICE values. Please remember the point, the lowest value is the highest priority here. So the lower the niceness index, the higher would be priority given to the task. So a process can be run in two ways. What are those? Foreground process and background process. Okay, so remember everyone, very simple point, a process is a program under execution. So if you give any input like execute command or running application, or it is program or anything, So everything is created a one process with backend one process ID. So every process ID is unique ID in the OS. Then what are the two types of processes? First one is foreground process, second one is background process. So what is the difference between foreground process and background process? Every process when started runs in foreground by default. So means user execute any program. So by default the process is the what? Foreground. So a user can be done only one process at a time. So best example Firefox. So now I will show you here. Observe. Okay, for example, if I run the word Firefox, so Firefox is the command to run the to open the Firefox. So now it's running. It's trying to opening the what? Mozilla Firefox browser. Right. So now it's successfully opened. So now what happened in the back end? See that. So the cursor is waiting for next job. So Firefox is actually running. The backend Firefox browser is running, but the cursor is waiting for next job. So these kind of jobs are foreground jobs. These kind of jobs are foreground jobs because the user can execute only one job at a time. So while running the job, it is not possible to execute one more job. It is called what? Firefox. It is called what? Foreground jobs. Okay, now you want to interrupt the foreground jobs, then you can use Control C or Control Z is the option. So if I run the word Control C, then the job is what? Successfully interrupted. It means you want to cancel the what? Any foreground jobs, we can use Control C or Control Z is the option. Then what is the next important thing? So the next important thing, background process. What is the background process? A user can be done in parallel with the process running in background, since they do not have to wait for the previous process to be completed. So no need to wait for the what? Previous process to be completed. So in that case, you want to run background jobs, adding ampersand along with the command starts it as a background process. Okay, after running the job, the user, you can add the what? Ampersand. Ampersand is nothing but what? When the ampersand is added, then job sits what? Background. Without ampersand, then it is a foreground. So now see that Firefox space ampersand. So then what happened? The job is running in the back end, but the process ID is what? Successfully created with 6221. So now here is the what? The user. The point is the what? Here see that. So in the background jobs, so do not have to wait for the previous process to be completed, because the cursor is ready for next job. So the backend Firefox is running now with one process ID with the ID value 6221. So when you add the what? Ampersand after the command, then it is a what? Background. Without ampersand then it is a foreground. So now this is the what? Important thing. So mostly any waiting jobs, any weighted jobs, then we'll go for the what? Ampersand option. But initially every job, for example simple execution, date is successfully executed. So these kind of jobs are what? Foreground is the good idea. But you are copying or you opening Firefox, or sometimes the jobs will take long time. So that kind of situation, better to use the what? Ampersand. The jobs running better with what? Background. So now the user how to find what are the jobs running in the back end. So then you can use jobs is the command. So job is the command to find the what? Background jobs list. Okay, right now only one job is running, which is Firefox. So this is the what? Important information. So what process ID? Then PS is the command to find the what? Process IDs. So now Firefox is running 6221. So the backend browser is the what? 63. The front end browser running with what? 6317. The browser web extensions are running with ID value is what? 63 87. So this is the way to find the what job IDs. So you want to list, like it is called what full description of the jobs, ps space hyphen l. So the same jobs with running the what id values, uid values, parent process id values, nice values, and everything. See that every value starts with what 0 of nice value. I told you just now what is that. So the nice value starts from 0, nice value starts from initially 0. So you want to change the priority of nice values, then you can change it, but priority value should be plus 22 minus 19. So the lowest value is the what highest priority. So now jobs are running here, but here you want to kill that jobs. ps is the command. Sir, I want to kill the what Firefox. Then we can use some important kill commands are here. What are that? So process kill is the command. What is the process kill? Here the kill command accepts process id as an in a parameter, that is called what PID in a what parameter. So this is applicable only for the processes owned by the command executor. So what is the syntax to kill the process? Kill space signal space PID. So directly you can apply kill space process ID, but sometimes some processes are not killed without signals. So then what is the signal actually? So signal means it is our what software interrupts sent to a program to indicate that an important event has occurred. The events can vary from user request to illegal memory access errors. So you want to verify the signals, kill space hyphen L is the option, but lot of signals are there. But in Linux the very three important signals are signal quit, the id value 3, signal kill, the id value 9, signal term, the id value is 15. But now once again, signals are software interrupts. It's sent to a program to indicate that an important event has occurred. So you want to kill the process, you want to quit the process, I want to terminate the process, then we can use these signals. But mostly in the environment people are using kill space hyphen 9 is the process id, then it is 9 means signal kill. Okay, in case kill space 15 space, so it is your process id, then it is called what? So to terminate the what process. So now how to use these programs, how to kill the process. So first important thing, if you run the what ps command, okay, I want to kill this process because I don't want to run this Firefox, then kill is the command hyphen 9. 9 means what? To kill the process. Which process you want to kill? 6221, that is the what process id 6221. So then enter. So now successfully Firefox is killed. Then check it ps, so no jobs are running, or even ps space hyphen L. So now there is no Firefox related running here. Okay, so this is the great way to kill the word processes. In case more jobs are here, then people's how to find the word jobs. Then Firefox, one more time I will running the job, Firefox %L. So now job is running in the backend, and check it your jobs ps command. Okay, Firefox is running. But how to find in case more jobs are running? Then ps space hyphen L or ps space hyphen EFL, then we can use by using grep hyphen I want to find the what only Firefox job. So now I told you Firefox grep and piping combination. Okay, maybe number of jobs are running. Okay, number of jobs are running. So that time how to find only Firefox ID value only. So I want to get the what only Firefox job ID information. Then if you run that, only it lists Firefox related information. So this is the 6627 is the what Firefox job ID information. So now what are the jobs running and sleeping and everything? We can use ps space hyphen EFL, or some people are writing only ps space hyphen EF only. Okay, EF also it is fine. So to find the what Firefox ID values. Then how to kill the process? Kill space hyphen 9. I want to kill the what Firefox 6627. So now 6627, then it kill the what process. But is there any running Firefox? So now ps hyphen EF, then RL or anything, no Firefoxes are running here. So please remember, you want to find the process IDs of jobs. So to find the process IDs, then ps is the simple command, or ps-ef is also command, or you can add the what l option is there. But what is the EFL? Then you can use the what man pages, man space ps. Then here some important options. L is the what list option, and list option is there. Yes. So E is the what? Select all processes. E means what? Select all processes. And then F for process and L for list. So like same thing, here is the what? Options. So you can read the what manual pages, and different options are there. But here E for what? All, and L for what? List. Enough. Okay, so now here you want to monitoring Linux operating system. The simple command is top command. So what is the top command? So top will monitoring your Linux operating system. So generally in Windows, how to monitoring means task manager is there, but in the Linux, how to monitoring your Linux, top is the command. So if you run the top command, so now here is the word. See, the first line is, so how long server is up and running. The first line is how long server is up and running, and how many users are connected, and what is the load average of the server. This is the first important line. And now what are the tasks in the Linux? So overall 322 processes. So out of 322, here is the what 3 or 4 or 2 is the what running state. So now it will change every 3 seconds. It is updated to what? Yes, the dashboard. So now 2 processes are running, and out of now 5 processes are running. So it will update every 3 seconds. And now 3117 is the sleeping, and 0 is stopped processes, and 0 is the what? Zombie process. But what is the zombie? I will tell you, wait. And now what is my current CPU utilization? Then 2.4 CPU utilization is running. And next, what is the memory usage? So right now my total memory is 2 GB approximately. So 410 is the free space, and using 1068, like approximately more than 1 GB is used state. And now what is the swap memory? I told you. So it is a virtual memory. I specified twice of the RAM size. Actually my RAM size is 2 GB, that's why I specified the what 4 GB. But now the completely swap space is using 3778 is the free space, and right now it is using 318 used space. Okay, this is the first top line information. Then what is the PID, process ID of each process, then which user is executing this process. So here is the what priority values, here is the what nice value, and the next one is, it is a what each process virtual memory, it is a each process registered memory, and each process saved memory, and each process state like S for sleeping or for running here. And then the each process CPU utilization. Now genome cell running with what? Occupied 6.3 CPU utilization. The top command occupied 0.3 CPU utilization. And now the each memory occupation from the RAM. So now this process is occupied 6.1 memory, 6.1 memory, and now it is occupied 2.3 percentage is occupied memory. And now what time to be what command to be executed, that is called what time command to be executed. So then this is the what time, and our last one is what is the command name. So like this is the what monitoring field. You want to verify the what CPU utilization, memory utilization, and how long server is up and running, how many users are connected, what is the load average of the server, and how much memory is using, what is the free space, how much swap space is running, and everything under the what top command. So you want to cancel the top command, then Q is the option. So Q is the option to cancel the what top command. So now everything under the what top command. You want to monitor it, then simply it is called what top command. And next, you want to find any particular process, like you want to find any particular process, then we can use the command PID off. PID off is the command. Okay, I want to find my SSHD process ID. So then my SSHD process ID is the what? This is. So right now the SSHD process ID running 1058. Okay, I want to find the what cron tabs cron process ID. So now the cron process ID is what? 1290. So like even one more command is there, pgrep command also is there to find the process IDs. So like pgrep is the command, I want to find the what cron D. So then what is the cron D ID value? Then 1290. So actually you have two commands to find the what process ID, simple. So you want to get any process ID, you can use ps-ef also, but simple way only particular process ID, then PID of is the command or pgrep also is the command. So this is the simple way to find the what process IDs. And next, how to find the nice values? Then actually every nice value starts with initially 0 only. I told you what it is. So here nice, enter. So by default every nice value is the 0. And the next important thing, the one more, yes, the one more important thing. So how to change the what nice values? How to change the what nice values? For example, I want to get a what PID of like just I will explain PS hyphen el by using grep what is that cron D. So cron D. So right now the priority value of that is called what niceness value is the what 0, but I want to change the what nice value here. So how to change the what nice value? So then we can use nice is the command space hyphen 2 here is the what hyphen 2 means that is like a +2, but that is called what lowest priority is the what highest priority, lowest value is the what highest priority, nice space hyphen 2 cron D is the option. So now the process ID value that is called what nice value is the what now +2. Then what is the meaning of cron D? The ID value is what +2. Okay, I want to setting up the what highest priority. So this is the what lowest priority, plus means what lowest priority, but I want to set up the what highest priority. So how to change the what highest priority of cron D? Then I want to use minus, actually minus 10. Actually hyphen, first hyphen is the what syntax option. So now I specified the what minus 10, then it is called what highest priority because lowest value, then enter. Then check it the what cron D, what happened here, the nice value, okay fine. So cron D cannot lock var lock in PID, otherwise maybe P7145 resource temporarily unavailable. Okay, the backend is the what cron D temporarily unavailable. So right now, so that's why it is not working. But I will change the what I will change the what ID value of another process. What it is? Okay, I will open the what one more terminal. So the terminal is one more terminal, and this is like here it is running top command. So the top command is running. So I want to change the what nice value of top command. So then actually nice hyphen 2 it is a top command. So then the nice value is running top command, nice value is what now 2 is the what nice value of my top command. See that? So 2 is the what my nice value of my top command, right? So now I want to quit. So again I want to change the what nice value of top command. So now I want to specify only minus 10 value. So then the top value nice value is ID value is what now 10. So it is the what highest priority. Minus 10 means what highest priority, because lowest value is the what highest priority. So then you want to change any nice value, so then we can use the what command is the what nice is the command. But remember everyone, the lowest value is the what highest priority. And next very important thing, so you want to renice the what ID value, renicing. So now I want to change the what existing ID value. Just now we completed one important thing. So what is that? Here again the cron D option is there. What is the cron D priority value? So ps-l cron D priority value. So now it is running the what 2 value, but I want to renice the value. So renice is the option, hyphen 5 is the ID value. Then what is the process ID value? The renice ID value 2060. So then 2060, then enter. So now see that 2060 process ID old priority is 0, then the new priority is the 5. Then check it now, the priority value of cron D, then ID value process ID value is where? Okay, here is running two priority values, that's why it is called what, new priority. Okay, one more time I will start the what, I will troubleshoot that systemctl and stop. Later will tell you these commands in the networking environment. So again we will start the word process. So check it now, ps-el. Okay, the value of this, okay, PID of then cron D, the ID value of cron D is 7301. okay, I want to kill first 7301. So I want to kill the word process first. Okay, now we will check it the word cron D. Okay, now priority value is 2 is running, so I want to renize the value. So renize like it is a 5, the priority ID value is 7145. So now the old priority is 2, then the new priority is 5. So if you check the word, the process ID value, so now the priority value is 225. So this is the way to changing the what, niceness values. So you can use nice command to set up the what, priority, and even you want to change existing priority values, you can use the what, renice command. So these are the what, very important commands in the real environment, how to find the what, processes and process IDs. So note point is, so you want to get a like any particular user files and particular group files, so also it is possible. So best example, ps space -u, I want to find the process IDs of root user, so right. So now this is also one more important option, what it is. So ps is the command, sir I want to find only root user running processes. So what processes are by maintained, what processes maintained by root user, that is called what, -u is the option. ps space capital U, I want to find root user processes, then these are the processes managed by root user. Okay, I want to find processes managed by Raju user, then these processes managed by Raju user. Actually no processes managed by Raju user here. Okay, for example, if I log in with another prompt in the Raju user, like su space -Raju, then enter. So now successfully logged in. So previously no processes, now only one process is there, that is called 7402, that is called what, login shell, because just now you logged in the what, Raju user. So that's why one process is backend managed by Raju. If I log out the Raju user, now again no processes managed by user Raju here. So you want to find individual processes, then capital U is the option, space username. Okay, when will you specify capital G, then I want to find the what, here it is called what, cloud team process IDs, what processes managed by this cloud team, what processes running by this cloud team. So now right now they no processes. Okay, what processes managed by the group root, so then oh these are the processes managed by group root. Okay, so like that you will manage the what, multiple processes in the environment. And the next very important thing, so what types of processes in the Linux, so states of processes. So generally foreground process, background process, but if you execute any process, what is exactly a life cycle of the process, right? So if you create any new process, so initially the process state is ready state, the process state is ready state. From the ready state to maybe the process will go to what, running state. So once process is running, maybe from the running state to waiting state, or maybe from the running state to again in any interruption, then it will go again ready state, or maybe you will go for the what, terminated state, that is called what, exit state. So this is the life cycle. So actually if you create any new process, initially the process state is what, ready, so ready to running, but any running process if you interrupt, again back to ready state, So and then maybe waiting state, or it is called what, terminated state. But what are the states of processes? Maybe any process is running state, or any process is waiting state, or any process is stopped state, and finally the very important question, any process with a zombie state. So what is a zombie process? The process is dead but have not been removed from the process table. It is nothing but zombie. See that sometimes the process is dead, but have not been removed from the process table. But how do you know that how many zombie processes are running? Even the processes are dead but it's not removed from the process table, then it is called what, zombie process. So how to find the zombie process? If you run the top command, then here is the what, any zombie process are running, here it is highlighted. Okay, 2 or 3 zombie processes are running. How can you find it? In the top command, here in the right side, zombie processes are listed. And then the one more important thing, what is a daemon? So daemon names are background service names. Daemon names are what? Daemons means background service name. So these are special types of background processes that start at system startup and keep running forever as a service. They don't die. So means when will you start up the system, or when will you running on the system, so these daemons are obviously activate your services while booting or after booting machine, but these daemons are don't die. But so best example, everyone knows the service name. Okay, everyone install the what, Apache web server. For example, people know that Apache web server. Okay, so this is the what, one thing, but actually the system knows only that daemon name is what, httpd. So like Apache web server is the what, front end application name only, but the backend service name is HTTPD, hypertext transfer protocol daemon. So you want to manage web server, Apache web server, you must handle the what, HTTPD only. So start the service HTTPD and enable the service HTTPD and open the configuration file related to HTTPD and everything. So same thing, you want to manage SSH, then what is the daemon name? SSHD. So that is, daemon is nothing but background service name. Daemon is nothing but what, background service name. So they are started as system task spontaneously. However, they can be controlled by a user via the init or systemd process. So very important point. So now I will explain what is init or systemd. So init is the first program in the Linux that is executed when the Linux boots up. Remember, so I told you one important thing. See that, so if you find the word processes in the Linux operating system, but every process occupied different process ID values, 2153 genome cell and 2612, like maybe it is called what, VM2LSD, and 5771, like it is called what, every process occupied one process ID, but one process forever occupied every time only one is the what, ID value of the command, that is called what, systemd. So here the one ID value is systemd. See that systemd is the service in the backend, it occupied process ID value is one only. What is the meaning? So now observe. So init or systemd, actually in early days Linux operating system up to Red Hat 7, so up to kernel version 3, init is the first program in the Linux operating system that is executed when the Linux boots up. So once your Linux operating system is started, the init occupied, the process ID value is 1 only, because it is a mother of all processes. Init is the what, mother of all processes in the system. That's why the init program occupied ID value is 1. But after Red Hat 7, the init is completely replaced with systemd. The init is replaced with what, systemd. So the old versions of Linux operating systems, init is the what, system process, init is the what, process. But in the Linux operating system after Red Hat 7, init replaced with systemd. So now the init process ID value or systemd ID value is 1 only. So please understand this point. The repeated interview question is, so what is the first program in the Linux? So even you don't know that time systemd, at least you have to say init is the first program, it is a mother of all processes, it occupied id value is 1. See, init is the first program in the Linux that is executed when the Linux boots up. So simply it is a mother of all processes on the system, but it is started by the kernel itself. So who is executed this program? Kernel itself. So it is started by the kernel itself. So in principle it does not have a parent process. There is no parent process of init or systemd, because the mother of processes are what? The mother of processes means init or systemd only, but that's why it is a first process. So these processes are started to what? Remaining processes. So that's why the init process always has process id of 1. So you want to find the what process id, then it is a PID of. In early operating system means init is the what? ID, but now in the latest it says systemd, then systemd id value is the what? 1. So this is the what? Parent process, and remaining all processes are what? Child processes. So remember, one more time I will tell you the very repeated interview question: what is the first process in the Linux? What is the first program in the Linux? So do you know what is the process always has process ID of 1? Yes, that is systemd or init. Okay, so this is overall process management concept.